1. Stop hoping for a completion of anything in life. Most men make the error of thinking that one day it will be done. They think, if I can work enough, then one day I could rest. Or, one day my woman will understand something, and then she will stop complaining. Or, I'm only doing this now, so that one day I can do what I really want with my life. The masculine error is to think that eventually things will be different in some way. They won't. It never ends. As long as life goes on, man needs to learn to feel the present moment and not hope for the unknown future. The challenge is to tussle, play, and make love with the present moment. 2. Never change your mind just to please a woman. If a woman suggests something that changes a man's perspective, then he should make a new decision based on his new perspective. But he should never betray his own knowledge in the intuition in order to please his woman or go along with her. Such an action will weaken both her and him. They will grow to resent each other, and the crust of accumulated inauthenticity will burden their love as well as their capacity for free action. 3. Don't get lost in tasks and duties. Whatever the specifics of a man's purpose, he must constantly remind himself of the danger of losing himself in an endless list of tasks and refresh the spiritual aspects of his life through regular meditation and retreat. Otherwise, he risks becoming a mere mechanical performer of duties and routine, which leads to a loss of meaning where inner freedom suffers. A man must be able to stop, find internal depths, and direct his attention to the essence, not just superficial tasks. 4. Your purpose must come before your relationship. Every man knows that his highest purpose in life cannot be reduced by any particular relationship. If a man prioritizes his relationship over his highest purpose, he weakens himself, deserves the universe, and cheats his woman of an authentic man who can offer her full, undivided presence. 5. Live as if your father had died. A man should love his father, but be free from expectations and criticism from him. A man needs to grow out of his shadow, become himself, and take responsibility for his decisions and actions in order to be a free man. 6. What she wants is not what she says. Sometimes a woman will request her man in plain English, not to get him to do something, but to see if he is so weak that he will do it. In other words, she is testing his capacity to do what's right, not what she is asking for. In such cases, if the man does what his woman asks, she will be disappointed and angry. The man will have no idea why she is so angry, or what could possibly please her. He must remember that her trust is earned not by him fulfilling her requests, but by him magnifying love, consciousness, and success in their lives, in spite of her requests. 7. Lean just beyond your edge. At any given moment, a man's growth is optimized if he leans just beyond his edge, capacity, and fear. He should not be too lazy, happily stagnating in the zone of security and comfort. Nor should he push far beyond his edge, stressing himself unnecessarily, unable to metabolize his experience. He should lean just slightly beyond the edge of fear and comfort. Constantly, in everything he does, it's a process of self-discovery, where a man finds strength and wisdom in his own essence and unlocks potential he had never even imagined. 8. Trust nobody. A man must be prudent, vigilant, and able to recognize true intentions before placing his faith. Trusting somebody blindly often leads to disappointment and betrayal. It doesn't mean completely isolating himself or becoming cynical, but rather learning to trust his own instincts in judgment. It's about discerning who and what deserves his trust and taking responsibility for his decisions. Trust is earned, not given. 9. Be willing to change everything in your life. A man must be ready to dedicate everything to his purpose, face or resolve the consequences of his past actions, and then be willing to move on from this particular way of life. He must be capable of entering a period of uncertainty, not knowing what to do with his life, and waiting for a vision or a new form of purpose to emerge. These cycles of specific action, followed by periods of not knowing what the hell is going on, are natural for a man who is shedding layers of karma on the way to realizing his potential. 10. She doesn't really want to be number one. A woman sometimes seems to want to be the most important thing in her man's life. However, if she is the most important thing, she feels her man has made her the number one priority and is not fully dedicated or directed to divine growth and service. She will feel her man's dependence on her for his happiness, and this will make her feel smothered by his neediness and clinging. A woman really wants her man to be totally dedicated to his highest purpose and also to love her fully. Although she would never admit it, she wants to feel that her man would be willing to sacrifice their relationship for the sake of his highest purpose. 11. Don't use your family as an excuse. If a man never discovers his deepest purpose, or if he permanently compromises and uses his family as an excuse for doing so, in his core, masculinity becomes weakened. His woman loses trust in sexual polarity with him, even though he may be putting much energy into parenting and housework. A man should, of course, be a full participant in caring for children and household, but if he gives up his deepest purpose to do so, ultimately everyone suffers. 12. Don't ever chase after someone. A man who constantly chases someone often ends up with compromises and dependence, which robs him of the freedom to be himself. By pursuing someone and begging for attention, a man diminishes his own value, leading to a loss of self-worth. True self-worth is found when he starts prioritizing himself, understands his own needs and values, builds his life based on his beliefs, and directs time and energy towards self-improvement. 13. You don't have to please everyone. People like it when others give them positive feedback and approve of their actions. In reality, pleasing and trying to make everyone happy only makes a man's life miserable and attracts people who only want to use him because they know that they will always put their needs ahead of his own. Everyone has things that they consider important to them. If a man doesn't take time to determine what's important to his life, it will easily find himself swayed to focus on what's important to others. If we try to please everyone, we will end up pleasing no one. 14. If you don't know your purpose, discover it now. Without a conscious life purpose, a man is totally lost, drifting, adapting to events rather than creating events. Without knowing his life purpose, a man lives a weakened, impotent existence, perhaps eventually becoming even sexually impotent. In the end, he becomes a passive observer of his own life, plunges into a deep emptiness, and loses the ability to self-realization and inner growth. 15. Nobody is coming to save you. A man must learn to save himself, and it has nothing to do with whether people like him or not. They have their own lives to live. One must come to terms with this and learn to live with it. People will move in and out of his life, and if he depends on them, he will be disappointed. A man should be responsible for his own life. Eventually, the best way to get your life to where you want it to be is to take control of your destiny.